It is 7:43. Thanks for being with us here on the WKYC app. Now, youth sports can build confidence and teamwork, but the pressure can also take a toll. Last week, Danita sat down with the University Hospital psychologist to talk about supporting the mental health of young athletes.
Well, we all know that youth sports, it can build confidence and teamwork, but sometimes it can build up a little too much pressure. We're going to dig into that today with a Cleveland Browns behavioral health clinician about that mental health part of being a young student athlete. I'm so happy today to have Dr. Vincent Caringi. He's a child and adolescent psychiatrist at University Hospitals, as well as the team behavioral health clinician for our Cleveland Browns that we're all hoping for a great season. But let's just jump right into this, Dr. Caringi, because sports is great for kids, but what's the mental health aspect of being in a sport?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's what I like to frame is that play is protective, right? Sometimes when I get asked to do these kind of interviews, I feel like sometimes folks come away thinking that I'm advocating against the stresses of sports. In fact, the evidence is overwhelming that sports participation is actually protective for young people in terms of their anxiety and depression, building their confidence and self-esteem, the life skills we want them to develop as adults with teamwork and resilience. And so there's really nothing unique about the challenges that they're facing. The thing that's actually in common is the gap to access care. Yeah. And that's where we want to come in and make this something that we're talking about openly so they know where to go and who to ask for help.
Where does this pressure come from to perform and perform at a high level? Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it can come from lots of places, right? I mean, these kids are often internally motivated to want to be their best and do their best. But sometimes there's external pressures that they're trying to manage with parents and coaches. And in the age of comparison with social media and some of the elite performers that are really looking to this to be their opportunity for scholarships or their opportunity for really elite play. The pressures come from everywhere. And so knowing how to support them is incredibly important.
As a parent, I'm a parent of a student athlete. How do we know when, it's just too much? You have these 2-a-day practices. Well, what can you look for in your child to say, you're overdoing it a little bit?
That's a great question. That leads me oftentimes when folks are talking about the word burnout. And the concept of burnout, as I've come to understand it, is really the comparison of both sort of that mood or motivation and the performance. When those two things together are starting to decline, I think that's a really important warning sign that maybe it's time to intervene there. And there's some easy things you can do, right? We actually know burnout is often linked to young people with single sport athletes and no time off. And a parent can take the responsibility of creating breaks, right? And prioritizing some time away from sport, or maybe even encouraging multi-sport athletes at a young age instead of trying to specialize so early in their life.
Talk about the parent who is living their lives through the child. I see a lot of that. The parent that loves, football, they love basketball, and they put their child in everything and forces them to go out. Talk to that issue. How does that happen, and what can be done to stop that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my understanding and experience with working with families and parents when that's been the case is they're really well-meaning, right? They want the most for those kids. They want the kids to have opportunities maybe they didn't have, or maybe that they regret not taking advantage of, and they think they're doing well by their child. But what we really, really understand is kids thrive when they're supported, not evaluated. And so
I like that.
If you create an environment at home where they can really feel supported, they have an evaluation mechanism with their team or their coach, right? That's where they're supposed to get some of that criticism, constructive criticism, hopefully. And you can just be the person that supports them and just really loves watching them play.
Yeah. Do you ever have to talk to coaches? What are some things you tell coaches when it comes to student athletes?
The message for coaches is that we really want to create an environment of, really the idea of psychological safety, right?
Okay.
A place where a kid can know that they can make a mistake and not fear making that mistake because they're going to get the instruction they need, the motivation and encouragement to try again. And that's really going to build the resilience and the skill set and have that kid be a stronger, fitter athlete, not a weaker one, by creating that environment.
Right. I really love everything you say. I'm going to leave with this one question. When does competitive sports become just too competitive?
I think that's probably different for everybody.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I think there are individuals that are using it more for the skill set that team sport can build, and like I mentioned before, in that the physical benefits and the teamwork and the resilience, and they just want to be part of a team because it feels like they belong.
Yeah.
And belonging is so important.
Yeah.
And then there's another level of athlete that it's really important to them, and competition really drives them to perform outside of their comfort zone and grow. And so, I mean, I think it's a little bit different for everybody. It's really helpful, I think, for those young people to have resources to talk through, because if they're at that level where competition and excelling is a priority to them, then we just want them to have access to support and care that they need when the time is right.
Care is correct. When you're getting overwhelmed, kids need to be able to have a safe space.
Yes.
That they can share what's really going
Yep.
on. Dr. Caringi, you are awesome. Thank you for all this great information we need, helping parents, helping coaches, and helping students.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
the time.
Great job.